Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast. With him, Peter Crouch, Chris Stark and Statman Dave are here as usual. And I'm Clive Tilsley, the stout in their lager. Back for the pod for a huge fee, paid sadly in crashing Bitcoin, and already nervously looking through my script as to what else I've got to say. But I'm glad to be here.
Clive, absolute pleasure to have you as always. You did the Samrat one last time. Couldn't thank you enough. You got off to an absolute flyer.
So, final podcast of the series. Obviously, we're going to make this a special one. We've got loads planned for you today. A momentous occasion. We're here in a Brewdog pub, which took the very first delivery of the Laout earlier today. We've also got a few guests with us. Sort of people that have maybe contributed throughout the series to the podcast. So welcome along everyone in the building. Obviously, we're here because this is the launch of the Laout. Peter, do you want to give the sort of lowdown about how this came about and just sort of remind everyone on the story?
How am I going to do that?
Because I haven't got a fucking clue how
I've got no clue how this came about. I really don't know. Like, we discussed a beverage and we discussed that, you know, I like a stout, you like a lager. And the Laout was born from that premise, really. And here we are, and it's been turned. It's in front of me now.
Obviously, it's a very important episode because it's the end of series. We always like to do something a little bit special, don't we? But Crouchy, it's also your wedding anniversary today as well.
Why are you bringing that up?
And Abs is here.
Chris, why you didn't need to do that?
Abs, what the hell is going on?
I've got no idea, Chris. Pete. To be fair, though, to Pete, I actually forgot it was our anniversary today. Because I know the date of our anniversary, but I didn't know it was today.
So actually, you're in the wrong.
I'm in the wrong. So I actually can't complain.
So I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about bringing her here to this event.
But what I wanted to check was that you haven't sold this as like. So tonight we're going out in London.
Oh, no, we did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I obviously picked the kids up from schools. Pete, meet me in London. Meet me after work. Doing something great tonight, and I'm here. In wherever we are.
Yeah, you're not sure where you are you?
No.
That's so good.
Have you had
welcome to Brewdog.
A little sip of the Laout? Yeah.
I have. It's nice. It's like a fizzy irony drink.
We need to make a song out of that.
It's a fizzy irony drink.
Yeah, so look, we've got the cans here, so people are going to be able to actually buy this soon.
Oh, here he is, isn't it?
There we go.
Here's the Beer Whisperer. Beer Whisperer, can we have a quick chat with you?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back.
That's a pleasure, mate. Because do you know what? This is an idea that came about from this podcast, and you've actually made it happen. So I'd like to thank you for that.
Well, it wasn't just me. It was the beer wizard up at HQ and the whole team. So I'd like to thank the whole Brewdog team for helping pull this off. It's been a long time coming, and it's amazing to see the cans out there and have the beer pouring on tap.
We are going to try this drink for the first time. Everyone here is very excited, as you can tell. Crouchy, I think it's only right. Your name is above the door here. Do you want to take the first sip and just let us know what you think?
It's Peter Crouch, this man who used to play football for England. This is the pinnacle of his career. This may be as good as Peter Crouch's career gets.
This is fucking amazing, Clive.
Yes! Come on!
Cheers to that.
It's real.
Woo! Paddy, you've done some pretty tough stuff in your career so far. How tough was this assignment?
It was pretty hard to get this one right, but only really because Crouchy's specifications were so exacting. You know, there was not a lot of wiggle room. You know, most relationships are kind of give and take, but with him and designing
Very demanding.
this beer, it was all take. So I think we managed to nail what he wanted and get it in the glass. We got the crispness of the lager, the refreshment. You know, it's a hot day beer. It's a summer's beer, which is good because it's sunny and summery here. So it's a beer you can have on a hot summer's day. It's a beer you can have after a match. Refreshes you, but you've got that little chocolatey, malty nuttiness of a stout. So I think we managed to combine those two. We're pretty happy with it.
But you know what? I'm not like I probably won't get the opportunity to make a beer again.
Yeah, not with us. No.
Yeah. So,
but you won't
want
need
it to be
to,
right.
will
I'm
you?
like, you're making me out to be like Mariah Carey. Like, I just wanted like a nice. I want it to be
No, but it is right.
Correct.
No, you've done the right thing.
Yeah.
It's better we do it. We always say this with a podcast. We do it properly. If we're going to do it, we'll do it properly.
do it.
And
Just
that's
do
what
it
you've done.
properly.
No half measures.
No, I'm really pleased with it. So
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
So, if you want to join in and experience the taste sensation that is the laout, Dave, what have you got to do?
You got to go onto the Brewdog website, brewdog.com/laout.
So we should say at this point, we've only produced a limited number of cans, so you've got to be quick on this. It's one of those. It's like Bitcoin, you know. You've got to be in now if you want in.
No, Bitcoin's crashing.
Oh, is it crashing?
Yeah,
live?
no, it's not,
Oh,
it's
price
not
of
like
the Laout
Bitcoin.
will hold,
It's not
will
like
hold
Bitcoin.
solid.
Invest in laout rather than Bitcoin. That's what we're saying. And I think it's going to be great. Like, we see so many people sending pics to us on socials when they're out of a weekend and celebrating things, and they're making the drinks themselves with whatever ingredients they have around them. I think what's going to be great is if you can get hold of these cans and enjoy them. Maybe you're part of a football team, or maybe you're just using them for pre-drinks, whatever. Send us photos, videos, make sure you tag us in. I think it'd be great to see the laout get out there, won't it, in the real world?
Even now, like, I'm looking round and people are sipping like loads as if it's normal. It's mind blowing.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to say it's been a massive team effort since we started talking about this. The only reason this is really happening is because you guys have got involved and made songs and made adverts and have really bought into the ridiculousness of this. Because as much as it's cool, it is also, if we're being honest, it's totally ridiculous. And one of my favourite things about this journey in making the laout, I'm sure you boys will agree, is the fact that people have been making songs, and we're going to do a couple of these throughout the podcast because we like a bit of music on the end of series, don't we?
Yeah, I think it makes it. You know, and some of the videos that we've had sent in of people creating songs have been absolutely phenomenal, like mind-blowing, really.
It's mad. You load up Twitter and bang, there's a new song. And it gets you pumped in the morning. You know, sometimes when you wake up, you feel a little bit drowsy. A laout song comes on and you are ready for that day.
Yeah, totally. Let's introduce Nathan to the podcast right now. This was one of our favourite songs. Nathan, you created it. It was all your idea. You sent it in. We found it very funny, but you're standing here today and I believe you're going to perform it. Welcome along.
Hello, welcome, thank you.
You're right, Nate.
Yeah, brilliant.
What do you do for a living then? Like, explain the context, because this must be weird right now, right?
Absolutely weird, yeah. Yesterday I was quality testing aerospace parts to make sure that they work properly and distributing them around the world. So,
Which do you prefer?
this.
So how long have you listened to the podcast for?
I actually only found the podcast during lockdown. So I was doing a different job then. I was working in retail, and a friend of mine, Percy, he passed the pod to me because it went really quiet and we had nothing to do. So from all of a sudden we were busy and then we had absolutely nothing to do. So we needed something to listen to at work. So I spent hours and hours and hours catching up from the very beginning.
Right, so you went all the way through.
All the way
lockdown.
through.
Oh, that's
yeah.
good news.
Which is good because you don't have to wait for an episode. So it's like go, go, go.
I think we let you have your moment now. And
Yeah.
Nathan, from all of us, we'd just like to say thank you for your service.
Thank you, guys.
And
'cause this is,
you're about to
a bit
perform.
bonkers.
You're about to perform for Peter's lovely wife and family there, and an assortment of my friends, various other people that have come along for this special recording.
Yeah.
And this could be a moment. This is Nathan with his cover of Tears for Fears, or Dizzy and Corden, depending on which way you look at it. Loud. Go on, Nathan. Here we go.
Alexa, resume. It's loud, lager and stout. The Brewdog beer wizard knows what we're about, so come on. We're talking to come on, have a loud if you think you're parched enough. Loud, lager and stout. The Brewdog beer wizard knows what we're about, so come on. We're talking to you. Come on, have a loud if you think you're parched enough.
Oh, my word. Well done, Nathan.
Oh, we're off to a flyer.
Wow. We've heard a bit of a banger there, but another listener who played a crucial role in making this happen is Simon, who designed the can Crouchy in his underpants.
Right, so I've seen Simon looking over my right shoulder here, and talk me through it, Simon.
I feel like we've got off on the wrong foot, really, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously, it's an amazing design, but what did
What's
you?
with the pubes?
I'm just I'm not a hairy man.
No. Have you ever been to, when you went to Spain when you were a kid, and there was like the caricaturists on the seafront? It's like that, you have to exaggerate.
Simon, can you confirm what my hand is doing with your creative mind?
To be fair, when I'm drawing it or illustrating it, I was trying to pick out points that had a point to talk about.
Yeah.
'Cause I know it might get mentioned on the podcast. So I knew that looked like your hand might be near your pelvic
Somewhere else.
region. Yeah.
Tossing myself off.
But it's obviously supposed to be holding a pint glass with a pump. I could have just done a gold and black half and half can, but I just knew it wouldn't have the
impact.
The impact, and I wanted to do something that had the energy and the fun of the podcast.
That's great. It's great. And how are
was
you
what the
feeling
thought
about seeing it as an actual drink?
Just mental, innit? To be honest, sat here drinking something that, as Peter said, I doodled in my room.
All right, Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anything you'd like to say to everyone listening? Is there any sort of speech you want? Any
No,
moment?
not particularly. Just go out and buy it and enjoy it and take loads of photos and CC me in. And
Okay.
Nice one. Give it up for Simon.
Well done,
everyone.
cheers, guys.
So we promised at the start of the series to give away Crouchy's England Man of the Match champagne to the person who passes the pod in the most ingenious or effective way. And now it's time to actually give that bottle away, Crouchy. All good with you?
It's all good.
We've had people passing the pod in public toilets, in various different ways in public toilets, in fact. Postmen adding it to letters, supermarket workers putting podcast messages onto orders containing pancakes. There's been
I've enjoyed
ways.
recently. I've enjoyed the vans with the pass the pod.
The dirty vans.
Usually it's like my wife's filthier than this. That's usually the
If you
tagline.
think this is dirty, you should
You
see my
think
wife.
This is dirty,
sort of
yeah. That kind of stuff. Boring. Pass the pod in the dirty van. It's going really well.
Yeah.
It's a serious campaign.
Clive Tilsley just looking on in absolute
I don't
horror.
think he knows where he is. It's just a career low for Clive.
If you think this is dirty, you should see my wife in front of Clive Tilsley. And he just turned around and looked at me.
Sometimes silence is golden in commentary.
I know, mate. I know.
But we have done some work though, Chris. We've actually narrowed it down to our favourite people that have passed the pod and got in touch. Should we start with the nominations, Crouchy, for you?
Yes.
Callum Shipton. I was on a cruise ship in a jacuzzi and end up by passing the pod to everyone in the tub. We're all getting along until one of them said, Eggy Boff first to leave. Over the course of 3 hours, we were asked to leave multiple times before they drained the tub. Eventually, one lad gave in, got out, followed by him buying the round.
Callum Shipton, the most carefully pronounced contributor to the entire podcast.
Have you ever Eggy Boffed your wife?
So Eggy Boff, the name of it derives from something that smells so bad that you can't go near it.
Oh, I've never questioned the origins.
It's an eggy boff. So imagine a boff of egg. Fucking horrific.
Yeah.
Right? So basically, like, if you're Eggy Boff, if you move first, you're Eggy Boff, you'd be like, oh, God, don't go near him. So that's where that's where it comes from.
We need Susie Dent to do it as word of the day.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we got her to do Shithouse as word of the
Yeah,
day?
yeah. That was one of my finest, one of my favourite parts of the podcast. Susie Dent Clive explaining the word shithouse like as if it was a proper term.
Have you ever got so close to saying, when there's a certain behaviour on
Is
the
this
pitch?
mastermind or something? Where did that come
no,
from? I
it's
thought I was just
Clive
doing the
Tilsley.
announcements.
No, sorry, we've brought the commentator. You're in now.
Yeah, I'm going to end my career. Let's do it. Come on.
What have you ever been so close to just calling someone a shithouse on commentary? Because I can't watch football. I don't think I've gone through one game without calling someone a shithouse.
I don't really use that. Twat is my...
Twat. You got near to a twat.
Oh,
yeah. You see, I think you could get away with that on commentary if you use it in the sense that you've kicked a ball hard.
I think we should be
He
allowed...
absolutely twatted it.
I think every commentator should be allowed one fuck per season. You have to use it...
Great point.
You have to use it very, very carefully. Rather like a cricket captain decides on the review.
It's your golden buzzer,
as that
isn't it?
moment comes when Crouchy does one of his bicycle kicks and it goes in the top corner, you've then got to ask yourself, is that my fucking hell for the season, or shall I keep it back?
You don't want to.
It's only March. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, because you might miss
Yeah.
a real like Aguero moment.
Yeah.
Like,
So that would have been
Yeah.
Martin Tyler would have gone, fuck. Like,
fucking hell! You'll never see this again.
I think one a season's a great shout because it's breaking the rules, but it's once you allow it. Because let's face it, whenever you watch a football match, you can hear the chants, you can hear the sweat, and they always got to apologise. So let commentators have one, but if the goal
apologise.
is then disallowed because of VAR, you then get it again. Let's get back to the nominations. Dave, who's next?
What about Alfie, Chris?
Yeah, I like this. I think it's a good nomination. Alfie Parnell. Hello. Now, he was the first person to design T-shirts with names on the back for his lad's holiday to Krakow. Now, this is one of my favourite stories in the series. I think we can all agree. So the background is we asked Joe Cole and Crouchy to pick a few managers that they'd like to go on holiday with. And we had a bit of a debate about it. And the managers were Sven, Redknapp, Ancelotti, Avram Grant, Cole, Crouchy, of course, Ten Hag, and Rafa.
It works really well, and obviously he was the first person to go on a proper stag with those characters.
Yeah, and we put the picture up on the socials, and a lot of people were loving it. It was so amazing to see it happen. Have we had a reaction from Joe Cole yet? We need to try
I
and
spoke
get
to him.
that.
I was with him
did you?
today. Yeah, I was with him today.
Has he seen it?
I've showed him it. He was flabbergasted. He didn't think it would happen.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe that it would actually happen, and he's desperate to know what exactly is happening on the stag do. So he needs updates regularly. He's told me.
All right, we need to award the champagne. We need to pick one of them. Crouchy, choice is yours.
Now, I've got to go with Alfie Parnell. I feel like he's organised a lot of stuff there. He's gone on a stag do with all those people, like with the names on the shirts, and pray for him because I hope they all come back safe. But I'd like to award him the champagne on their arrival
Back into the UK.
back
I hope
into
they
the UK.
spray it around the airport and everything. That'll be a real...
Give it to
moment for
Avram,
him,
let him spray it around.
Good news, everyone. We've been joined by the man who can be credited with starting off the Laout jingles that everyone's been making and posting on social.
What a ledge.
Sam Hart is here. Hi, Sam.
Sam
Chris.
Hart, wow.
So, Sam, you produced the first jingle that we heard on the podcast this series.
Yeah.
Talk us through everything that's happened.
Well, it's been a whirlwind, to say the least. So, yeah, it just sort of one Sunday playing cricket, trying to pass some time in the field, singing to myself, and thought, right, I was going through songs, did a bit of Salt and Pepper, Push It, and things like that, and then Let's Get Loud, Let's Get Loud comes into my head, and I'm down at 45 on the one, I'm going, Let's Get Loud, and then I just stand there and go, hang on, let's drink loud.
Yeah.
Put it together.
Genius.
Put it together. Let's drink loud. It's a lager and a stout. Sorted. Went to work on the Monday and then had a break during which I'm a funeral director.
Right.
And so
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. There's not many Chumbawambas at work. So I've had to go to a church and I've done what I need to do. So I've gone back out to the car.
So hold on. So sorry. You're in a funeral thinking about Jennifer Lopez.
Let's drink loud.
Yeah, a somber version.
Yeah.
So I've taken the service sheets into the church and then I've come out, got back into the car, and I was like, right, so it's family business. I was like, I can't go straight back to the office. I'll just record the jingle. So that's when I recorded the voice note.
Recorded it in a hearse.
No, in a Ford Galaxy, not in a hearse. Can you imagine if it was in the
The
hearse?
coffin in the back, and he's thinking,
Let's drink
drink
that. Let's drink that. So recorded it, sent it off, thought, I won't hear anything back. And then I was driving to work on the Wednesday that it was put out, and like stopped at traffic lights and just see my phone go ping, 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 ping. And it's like all these different people going, right, I'm listening to the podcast. So I was like, right, got to get that straight on.
it's amazing that you've listened to the podcast, then got involved, and now you're here. Like,
yeah, it's mental. It's like I put the song in. I thought, right, brilliant. It's been on the podcast, great. To then get an email saying, "What are you doing on this Wednesday?" Cancelled 2 funerals, sorted. I've got to be there. Sorry, I'm going to see Crouchy. Someone else can do it. Wow. So no.
So what we did is we took your song and we just thought it was so special. We wanted to try and elevate it to the highest level we could.
Yeah.
So both Crouchy and I contacted J-Lo and relevant people around her. And you would not believe how many emails, how much has been sent, and there's messages that were going back and forth. Now, sadly, Jennifer Lopez can't be here tonight.
Gutting.
So that was coming back as a bit of a no.
Yeah.
Me and Crouchy and Dave, we had a chat and we were like, what can we do next? So we managed to find the best J-Lo tribute act in the UK and bring them here tonight to make your song a reality.
Unbelievable.
And then, Sam, I thought, let's go another level than that. And I got my good friend Majestic, who Crouchy, you know now, and
We are huge fans of Majestic, and I don't know if you're across it, but he recorded for us the DJ Luck and MC Neat vibe from last time in the Sam
remember
Rat. And this could be, and I think is better, Chris, no?
I totally agree. Majestic, for me, is one of the UK's best talents, Sam. I managed to persuade him to come get involved in this nonsense. He's going to perform with our very own Jennifer Lopez tribute act tonight for you and for everyone listening. Her name is Beth. I would like to invite her onto the podcast in just a second. But Sam, we have made your song an absolute banger. We've made it our kind of podcast anthem for this series. Are you excited to hear it?
I cannot wait. Can I make it my ringtone?
Mate. You can do what you want with it now, mate. You wrote it.
Unbelievable.
Let's drink loud. Let's drink loud. It's the longer and it's a stout. Let's drink loud. Let's drink loud.
Are you ready for it?
I'm genuinely excited here.
Well, I'd like to have a big this is a live streaming audience, so get up and dance.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. You know the lyrics already for the chorus. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Peter Crouch podcast, the grand finale. J-Lo's in the building, everyone sing.
Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout.
Yeah. Majestic's back in its Series 6. Let's get loud, but it's the remix. The boys are back, yeah, Stucky and Crouch. Has anyone asked if J-Lo's about? Oh, well, a straight no from J-Lo. Let me ask Camilla Cabello. She was ready to be like the loud, and then the manager figured us out. Alright, let's start again. Jump on the call with the Baja men. Feels like no one wants to back loud. I think we need a new manager bounce. Loud, what's it about? Is it a lager? Is it a stout? Come on, go if you think you're partial enough. Sing the chorus.
Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout.
We had Joe Cole and David James introducing Statman Dave. He's making stats look sexy. Down your drink when he says HG. By crouching the pods on the roll. Top of the charts, top of the polls. 100 clubs at risk, no goal. Charge out a free kick like Joe Cole. The pod came back from a slumber. Ain't going down Chumbawamba. Buying bling from H.M. Samuel.
He went over his ankle.
Jeff Shreves, what's going on? The myth, the legend, the FIFA Don.
The latest at the moment, staying on. Cheers, Jeff.
Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud, let's drink
And you know the
loud.
players love a bit of end of
It's the
season with
lager
Uncle
and it's
Wayne.
the stout.
Goes like this, yo, and now it's time for the goose shit. Loose on our beach with a bottle of Grey Goose. Forget about Pep Guardiola, Wayne Lineker and Corona. The season's done, it's off to Spain. Fun in the sun with Uncle Wayne. Last game's at the end of school. Drop a bomb like Jermaine. Wayne's in the
Let's drink
pool.
loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud, let's drink loud. It's the lager and it's the stout. Let's drink loud.
I'll get that out.
Wow. Wow.
What a vibe.
That was absolutely class.
I've got to give it up, everyone. Bethany, our brilliant J-Lo.
Bethany.
And I say this every time, unrivaled, world class, the UK's finest, majestic.
Let's go!
They've already covered a lot on this podcast so far. We've got one more special performance to come, but not before Statman Dave pulls out his party trick.
It's a party trick that's taken a bit of time. Majestic's not slept in 2 days. I've not slept in 7. I've been watching every single goal that Crouchy scored to get to the 100 Club over and over again. Different angles, different mediums. I've been dreaming about it.
But Dave, have you actually gone through my 100 and whatever goals? I know it's 108.
We're looking at the 100 Club. We're focusing on the 100 Club.
I can't. Am I in it or not? Like,
Hold on, no. You can't just spunk it out
I want
like
it
that.
over with, Chris.
What this is about, if you are new to this podcast, is there is a slight suspicion that if you go back and look at all of Crouchy's goals, that he might not be in the 100 Club.
Yeah,
So
but let's be honest with this right now, right? I am in the 100 Club. It's in the record.
You're in
block.
for now.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in the books, right? You can't change that now. Clive, you're a stat man. You know it's in the books, right? These are trying to take away.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not.
You are.
I'm not
a
at
great
all.
fan of the Dubious Goals Committee, and they have the final ruling. Were all of your
Bellends,
108 goal bound? Were they all goal bound?
Crouchy, I'd love nothing more than for you to be in the 100 Club. It's it's better for our podcast that you are in it.
Yeah.
So, but it's right that we're on the right side of history with the truth.
When I say Liverpool, is there anything that you are in fear of? Is there anything you're thinking that is a problem right now?
Yeah, there was a couple. There was one against Shay Given, I think, that went out, potentially didn't go over the line, but I think it did.
It's fairly fundamental, that.
I think it did. No, I'm quite confident. You're not.
What about the first goal, the 19th goal of your career in the Premier League?
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
What happened?
I hit this shot. It's hit someone else, and then always remember it. Mike Pollitt palmed it into his own net. So it was basically I was the third last person to touch the ball.
So we've spoke to FIFA. We
spoke to FIFA about this.
We've spoke to the Premier League. We've really gone into a serious level of detail. And FIFA pointed me to a 1997 decree they put forward, which was FIFA issued a detailed guidelines for crediting own goals. They recognised an increased commercial importance of statistics, such as the top goal scorer and fantasy football.
That's FIFA's rule.
That sounds mental.
No wonder the World Cup's in Qatar.
The guidelines state that the credit for scoring is decided by the referee or match commissioner. We have processed, I think, around 10,000 angles of the goal.
Hold on, you've done this, have
We've
you?
spoke to FIFA, we've built an AI, we've done a lot of work on this.
He's amazing.
Wow.
And I can say today, with a 95% accuracy, that the shot was going to hit the target,
Yeah,
Crouchy. So
yeah.
you have got the goal!
Well done, Crouchy.
That's a real relief for me. I'm worried that it's potentially not right, but I'm going to go with it.
No, but it's there.
The stats are there.
It's there, it's in technology. The last little thing, though, that I touched on when I was going through the goals, we speak about Parch in quite a negative way on this podcast. But in fact, from goal 95 to 100, Charlie Adam, Parched, was directly involved in 4 out of the 6 goals.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Parched, or Charlie, as we used to call him, was phenomenal. So honestly, his left foot was a wand. Probably one of the most underrated players that I've ever played with. Technically, gifted. Honestly, he genuinely was. And he created most of my goals. And I loved it when he was in the team because he always looked forward. He was one of those players that instead of receiving the ball, just giving it back, he'd turn and he'd try and do things with it. And he'd try and find me. And even from deep, he would like, and his left foot was like a wand. And that doesn't surprise me that he created so many goals for me.
The last little thing, so goal 100. Who was it against?
Oh, that was against Everton.
Against Everton.
Yeah.
Was it?
You did the robot.
I did because I said like I've never done it in club football, and like I'm saying it like it's a fucking anyone really cares, but bizarrely they do. So I said like I've never done it. I did it twice for England, lots of times on a dance floor, as my friends can.
Yeah, I've got to ask this. Abby, did you know when he was going to score his 100? Did you know he was going to do the robot? Like, were you looking out for
Are you joking? Ab didn't know if I was playing.
Abby, just get a microphone. Let's get Abby on. Have you ever done the robot?
No, Chris.
Ab break dances.
Everyone?
You are horrible.
Let's drink loud. Let's drink loud. It's a lager and it's a stout. Let's drink loud.
Exclusive.
Go on, Abby. Go on, Abby.
Wow. That was absolutely brilliant.
Wow, well done.
This has been a lot of fun today. You enjoyed it, boys?
Absolutely
I've loved
cracking.
every minute of it, honestly, Chris.
Okay, we are approaching the end of this pod, but not before one more special performance. Friend of the pod, Joel Stewart, has joined us to have a low. How are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah,
Your
crazy.
journey on this podcast has just been incredible. I mean, you sent a song in to us, and then we played it to Prince William. We loved it so much. Do you remember it was in that lockdown time, and I don't know, like we were all quite stuck in, and Joel, you sent in this song, which right in that moment, we were recording the podcast, you know how it goes on, Crouchy, it was like midnight or something, and we were feeling a bit over-emotional, and we'd had a few drinks, and then played Joel's song, and we all just sat there, me, you and Tom, sat there just going like, fuck, this is really good, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. Obviously, I'd done the song, a couple of years ago now, which, like you say, like in that time, it was such a hectic time, and the podcast in that moment seemed a bit more than a podcast. It was the closest you could get to being down the pub with your mates, and so obviously that song came out as quite a heartfelt message. So when I heard that Mike Dean was retiring, I just I felt like a lot of us in the past, including myself, would have said some pretty rash things to Mike while he's out refereeing, and I thought he deserved the song to sort of say thank you, because I think he's added to the entertainment that we've had in the last 15 years.
And you can count Prince William as a fan now. Like,
yeah,
what
100%.
are your family and your mates saying about? Because we played this to him, and he
when we played that to Prince William, like when you heard it on the pod, like how did that make you feel?
There's definitely some moments that like something happens and you just think like, how has this got here? Like right now, stood here next to you, having a chat with you guys, next to Clive, big hero. That's like
It's mutual.
Thank you so much. But they're just moments that are just madness, and yeah, like occasionally I'll go back and listen to it and just think how like crazy. I think because the world at that point was so manic and hectic, it kind of blended into that. And now if I go back and listen to it, it's just it's nuts. It's crazy.
I've never heard Prince William talking about music, like and saying no, he's great. Like it's amazing what that song did for a lot of people listening. It sort of summed up everything I thought about the podcast, but you managed to do it in song. And then Mike Dean retires, and you piped up and was like, "I'll write a song about Mike Dean."
But I wasn't like, I really wasn't expecting something like this. Like with Mike Dean, like we got quite emotional about it, and I was thinking, like, actually, when you put it like that, like he's taken so much grief off probably me, off a lot of fans. But you think, like, when he explained it to us on the pod, like he's been through, so much to get to the pinnacle, really, of refereeing.
Yeah.
And you probably don't see that. You know, you hear about players' journeys, but you don't think about the referees' journeys. And then I think of all the grief I've given him and all the grief that fans have given him. And then he retires and you think, actually, he's been a good ref. And he's brought a smile to people's faces. And then when you sang the song, I'm getting fucking emotional about Mike Dean. This was, and I wasn't expecting for that to happen.
I think when I sit down to write music, I don't want to stray too far from what like I feel like I do fairly well, and so whenever I sit down to write a song, it will always come out with like the most sort of heartfelt nature that you can give something, and so when it was about him, it was I kind of picked my favourite little moments that he'd had, but then made sure that it had the emotional side to it too.
A lot of people have said a lot of nasty things about Mike Dean down the years. But now Mike Dean, the referee, is no more. So let's have somebody to say some beautiful things about Mike Dean. Joel.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go, everyone. Get up for Joel.
What a story of a boy. Woo! From the chicken slaughterhouse to the lights and the noise, the FA Cup final and European games. Oh, Mike never changed, ref them all the same. Oh, and where will we be without you on our TV screens? The most card-friendly we've ever seen.
It's Mike Dean.
It's Mike Dean, Mike Dean. The funniest ref we've ever seen. Mike Dean, Mike Dean, the chicken killing machine. And I'll never forget watching you celebrate a goal like you had scored it. So enjoy your time watching Tranmere with a beer by your side. Oh, weekends won't feel the same. No screaming at you at the game. Oh, Mike never changed. It's Mike Dean, Mike Dean, the funniest ref we've ever seen. It's Mike Dean, Mike Dean, the chicken killing machine. It's Mike Dean.
Well, the final word of this sixth series of the Peter Crouch podcast falls to me. I'm going to try and be serious for a second. It's special. It's unique. 6 series. The most important thing in any kind of communication, whether you're a commentator, a pundit, or a broadcaster, DJ, is engagement. And this podcast engages with you. You're the most important people in the podcast because you actually write the material that these guys spout out to you each week. So keep that material coming. Do try to pass the pod if you possibly can. We've got a keg of loud, and later on, Statman Dave's going to do his stand-up routine. I'll sleep well. Make sure you do.